I'm raising 4 prehistoric sea monsters as pets: Mosasaur, Plesiosaur, Megalodon, and the mythical Kraken. 4 predators known for wiping out entire species are now softly lounging in my fish tank. First up is the baby Mosasaur, with a crocodile-like gaping maw, the formidable creature swallowing sharks whole and killing the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. It is actually not a dinosaur, but rather a giant marine reptile. During the late Cretaceous period, it had no natural predators. Despite its current soft appearance, like a little tail-wagging goldfish, its predatory instinct ingrained in its bones since it hatched. Paleontologists, studying mosasaur fossils, have found many bite marks from their own kind. Its only predator was itself. The second baby, a plesiosaur, has a long snake-like neck. The ocean phantom of the dinosaur era. That is right, the creature rumored for 1,700 years, still claimed by tens of thousands of witnesses to be the real Loch Ness monster. Scientists believe the Loch Ness monster legend likely originated from imaginations of plesiosaur fossils. The third baby, a megalodon, now looks just like any ordinary small shark, but it can grow to be over 18 meters long. Its bite force can reach an astonishing 18 tons, 3 times that of a T-Rex. It can easily bite through a tank. It went extinct 2.6 million years ago, the last giant shark on Earth. It once ruled the oceans for 20 million years. As for the fourth Kraken, I have no data, no fossils, no specimens. No scientist can tell you how large it truly gets. In the blood-stained logbooks of the Norse Vikings, it could drag entire ships, crew and mast into the sea. Now, it is gently tickling my finger with its small tentacles, soft and squishy. And that is what is truly terrifying. You'll never know its true limits. I've set them up with a premium starter tank, with ample swimming space. I included private caves for them to hide in, and realistic artificial plants, so they wouldn't feel like they were trapped. I deliberately placed a miniature pirate ship on the surface to see if the Kraken's legendary ship, wrecking instinct, was real. But what I never expected was that the true nature of apex predators couldn't be contained. Barely 5 minutes after putting the 4 little ones in, the whole scene completely spiraled out of control. The Mosasaurus and Megalodon immediately started grappling, their sharp fangs tearing into each other's skin. The Plesiosaur, a true recluse, huddled in the furthest corner, its long neck completely hidden, fearing any tooth might touch it. But the most outlandish thing was this: the Kraken lay motionless, at the bottom of the tank, surprisingly engrossed in sucking on rocks, oblivious to everything else. Only later did I learn it wasn't playing, but training the strength of its suckers. Real giant squid suckers possess serrated horny rings along their edges, capable of leaving cuts over 5 centimeters in diameter on a prey's skin. This is why, once fully grown, it can effortlessly capsize ships. Next, we tested their diet. That is when I truly grasped their fearsome nature. First, I fed them meat chunks. These 4 ravenous creatures, they scrambled, wolfing it down, but they're natural hunters. Dead prey alone wasn't enough. Their primal killing instinct was etched deep in their bones. I then released a school of small fish. Mosasaurus and sawtooth shark darted out, biting relentlessly. Plesiosaurus extended its neck into rock crevices to pluck out hidden fish. The Kraken, with a gentle coil of its tentacles, slowly dragged the fish into its mouth, savoring it like a grand feast. 4 different evolutionary strategies: speed, flexibility, stealth, and control. They each reigned supreme in an era, and this is how they did it. By this point, I could already clearly discern their individual hunting styles. But what is even more terrifying is, they grew too fast. So fast that it exceeded all my expectations. After only 3 months, they grew to over 60 centimeters. The once spacious beginner tank became incredibly crowded. They were constantly fighting over food. The Mosasaurs and Megalodons could already tear into each other's flesh. Keep them here any longer, and the tank water would soon turn blood red. I had no choice but to send them to the largest local aquarium. They moved into a mixed species tank 60 times bigger, sharing it with fish, rays, and sea turtles. It was a miracle. Tourists went wild, having never seen live mosasaurs and plesiosaurs. Aquarium tickets sold out instantly, and lines stretched for kilometers. The sea monsters were docile, swimming after eating their fill and getting along with other animals. But the good times only lasted 3 weeks. The sea monsters grew 10 times faster than the other animals. They soon began treating their larger tank mates as an all-you-can-eat buffet. The Mosasaurus and Megalodon first devoured sea turtles and rays. Even large half-meter-long fish, swallowed whole. Not even the bones were spat out. Eventually they grew restless, fighting in the tank once more. The tremendous impact force nearly shattered the 20-centimeter thick bulletproof glass. The Kraken began attacking creatures with tentacles, throwing the mixed species tank into chaos. The aquarium, unwilling to lose these 4 profitable cash cows, had to separate them. This decision, however, would directly rewrite the fate of the 4 sea monsters. The Megalodon was moved into the aquarium's largest shark tank. It also housed 9-meter whale sharks and other large predators. Kraken was given a giant tank all to himself. because he loved to destroy everything. The aquarium decided to stage a nightly pirate ship demolition show. To everyone's surprise, he became a global sensation. Tourists flew in from around the world just to see him demolish ships. The plesiosaur was the only docile one, never attacking its tankmates, and was moved into a round mixed species tank with plenty of kelp. The fiercest mosasaur was confined to an underground concrete cell. It was monitored and studied by scientists around the clock. Inside, only water and cold bare walls. Everyone believed separate tanks would solve the problem, but they didn't realize it was just the start of a far greater disaster. Animal behavior research found the higher the intelligence of an apex predator, the more aggressive they become after prolonged solitude. Captive orcas and great white sharks both exhibit this pattern. The mosasaurus, confined to its solitary cell, wasn't being tamed but being ignited. A few more months passed, and the sea monsters all experienced explosive growth. The Kraken's tentacles grew from 1 to 9 meters. It grew increasingly adept at wrecking ships. Each appearance brought screams from the crowd. The plesiosaur grew to 4.5 meters, the largest in the communal pool. It was constantly surrounded by tourists taking pictures. The Megalodon was even more impressive, growing to 6 meters by stealing food from other sharks. Its teeth were larger than an adult's palm. It became the undisputed leader of the shark pack. All the other sharks obeyed its every command. They followed it like soldiers. This is no surprise. Paleontologists have found on whale bone fossils multiple serrated shark bite marks, clustered in one spot, indicating they would naturally cooperate to hunt blue whales weighing tens of tons. They were hunted down by an organized army. They even forced baleen whales to change their migration route and hide in the deep sea. But the small fish tank could no longer contain his ambition. He set his sights on the whale shark in the tank, 3 meters larger than him. The gentle giant he once dared not approach. After a brutal battle, serrated shark killed whale shark, becoming undisputed overlord of tank. Yet he wasn't content. Every day, he'd gaze out at the ocean for hours. Then, one day, he rallied all the sharks to frantically ram the tank's back wall. 1 strike, 2, 3, the glass gave way. The over 10-meter-long Megalodon led his army of sharks, bursting into the true ocean. The aquarium erupted, safety complaints soared, and visitor numbers plunged by 90%. The 3 remaining sea monsters were also growing ever larger. They consumed tons of food every day, and threatened to follow the Megalodon's lead and break out. In the end, the aquarium made the tough call to return the 3 remaining sea monsters to the ocean. By this time, both the Mosasaur and the Plesiosaur had grown to over 9 meters. The moment they were released, all 3 sea monsters felt an unprecedented sense of freedom. But the Mosasaur, locked away for months in a dark enclosure, was filled with hatred and rage. The moment he saw his old tankmate, the Plesiosaur, he charged and bit. The Mosasaur had the advantage in strength, while the Plesiosaur used its long neck to maneuver deftly. Just as the Mosasaur was about to deliver a fatal bite, a pod of blue whales and their calves swam past. Their massive bodies, like moving mountains, separated them. The Plesiosaurus seized its chance and fled without a glance back. From this moment on, the 4 sea monsters went their separate ways, embarking on completely different lives, and setting the stage for history's most brutal ocean struggle. The Megalodon had been running rampant for weeks. Its shark army was growing larger and stronger. Its body length had reached a terrifying 18 meters. They attacked passing ships and hunted large marine creatures. Even colossal blue whales, weighing tens of tons, fell victim. In their wake, the entire ocean became a vast graveyard. A plesiosaur swam to the shallow waters near a small island, hoping for a peaceful life. However, it was ambushed by a group of local crocodiles. Its neck was mauled, a bloody mess, and it nearly died. Fortunately, it was rescued by the island villagers. They bandaged its wounds. Once its wounds healed, the plesiosaur and the villagers became friends. It helped them fish, drove away crocodiles, and became the island's guardian. It befriended dolphins and sea turtles, finally finding a peaceful existence. Meanwhile, the mosasaur roamed the ocean alone, attacking everything he encountered. He even attacked low-flying helicopters. He had grown to 18 meters, a solitary destructive force, until he saw the seabed piled high with animal carcasses, all victims of the megalodons. One humpback whale, only partially consumed. The rest were simply discarded. The entire marine ecosystem had been utterly destroyed. It was only then that he realized he was no match for an army of megalodons. He traversed the ocean, finally locating the island and the plesiosaurus. He hoped to ally with Plesiosaurus, fight Megalodon, and save their ravaged ocean. But the Plesiosaurus had embraced a peaceful life, unwilling to be drawn into any more fights, and refused him. Just as a dejected Mosasaurus was preparing to leave, the sea surface suddenly darkened. The Megalodon, leading his shark army, had descended upon the island. He had long set his sights on these two, the only sea monsters who could threaten him, to eliminate them all, and become the undisputed king of the ocean. The colossal shark army, vast enough to blot out the sun, instantly encircled the entire island. The sharks, in a frenzy, swarmed Azure Dragon and Plesiosaur. Azure Dragon fought hundreds of sharks alone, quickly covered in wounds. Several large sharks bit the Plesiosaur's neck, leaving it in grave danger. Just then the islanders stepped in. They fired bows and spears wildly at the sharks. The Plesiosaur's dolphin friends also arrived, ramming sharks to protect the island, but it was far from enough. The Megalodon army was overwhelming. Megalodon seized chance, cornering Plesiosaur against reefs, opening gaping maw, about to snap its neck. In the nick of time, the Mosasaur charged with all its might, using its own body. It blocked the fatal blow. Lifelong enemies became comrades, fighting side by side. Back to back, they fought a desperate battle against the shark army, just as both sides were locked in a fierce battle, and everyone thought they'd be wiped out. The ocean surface suddenly shook violently. A dark shadow, bigger than 4 sea monsters, slowly rose from the depths. It was the Kraken. No one knew how truly immense it had grown. Dozens of meters long, countless tentacles shot out, lashing the surface like whips. They swept away sharks, mosasaurs, and plesiosaurs. Seizing the chance, they pushed the Megalodon into the Kraken's tentacles. This time, the Megalodon could no longer break free. He was tightly bound by the Kraken's tentacles. His struggles were useless. Ultimately, he was dragged into the deep sea, becoming the Kraken's feast. The great battle over, the Kraken dragged the remaining sharks back to the deep. Mosasaurs and plesiosaurs ended their lifelong feud, making peace. The mosasaurs stayed near the small island, and together with the plesiosaurs, guarded the local villagers and animals. From then on, the sea was calm. But the legends of the 4 prehistoric sea monsters had only just begun. The Kraken sank back into the deep, never to be seen again. No one knows where he is now,